Hey everyone, today I want to show you how you can achieve zero downtime migrations with the Xata CLI. Let's dive in. First, let us check what do we have in the database right now. We have a table tasks with the following fields: ID, title, done, and assignee. And the schema migration we want to make is to have a constraint on the assignee column such that it can only have two values, Alice and Bob. This is how a PG role migration looks like. We specify that we want to alter a column on the table tasks, and that column is assignee. The change that we want to make is to add a check constraint on that column. And in this case, we are adding the constraint that the assignee should be one of Alice or Bob. And we also specify up and down migrations to deal with data coming from old or new applications. So if something in this case is a part of Alice and Bob, then we just assign it, otherwise we default to Alice. Now let's see our application before we have made this change. It asks us to enter a task title, and it asks us in free text for an assignee. You can already imagine that making this change in the database schema, while trivial, makes zero downtime migrations hard, because as soon as you would apply the constraint, the old application instances would start to fail, as it should now be Alice and Bob, but the application does not restrict that. So let's see how this works with PG role. First, let's apply this migration. The migrate command applies all the unapplied migrations from the migrations folder. And the migration is now applied. We see that the new version of the schema is available under the Postgres public 02 check assignee schema. Let's see if our old application is still working. And interestingly, it still works. That is good news, because that's what we wanted to achieve. We wanted to have zero downtime migrations. At the same time, there is a newer version of this application that applies the assignee constraint as a dropdown. Let's see what happens in that. Again, I would enter a task title, and this time I can choose one of the assignees. Let's choose Bob. And you can see that we also have the data from the other application, although the assignee viewed by this application is already bound by the constraint. And that is the magic of PG role. Under the hood, it is creating schemas with different views, and different applications based on their usage of that schema, that's what we are passing on in here, see different schemas on the same database. Let's quickly dive into the database and see how this looks like. The search path currently is set to the default, which is public. And if I do select everything from the tasks table, you will see that it has the old fields which have the same values, and then PG role has created two live fields with the new data. And if I set the search path to the new schema, then we can see that the application has the new structure and the new values. And this is how we are able to achieve zero downtime migration. Now let's say that you have deployed the new instance of your app, and all the older instances of your app are now gone. This means that it is now safe to complete this migration. You can do that by running Xata role complete command. And now we can see again what's happening in the database. You can see that we're using the default search path, but now our table has the newer structure, and we no longer has the intermediary columns from PG role. If you're curious why this command is called Xata role, it is because it is using pgrole under the hood, which is our open source library to make zero downtime schema changes easy. Do check it out. I hope this gave you a glimpse of the power of the Xata platform and zero downtime migrations. I'm really looking forward to you using our platform. Thank you for watching.